Yo, what up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? This is KDIX, and you got my boy Patrick Hodge, and you see we got on some Tomatoe gear. Uh, he got on the red shirt, I got on the black shirt, but our hats look the same, don't it? Yo, uh, we want to welcome Patrick back. He was a little underneath the weather last week, but I'm gonna tell you right now, winning cures everything. I'm telling you, winning cures everything. If Patrick knows exactly what I'm talking about, baby. You know exactly what I'm talking about, man. So we gonna talk a little baseball today because Patrick got some things he want to get off his chest, and I ain't mad at him because I got some things I'm gonna talk about too. So go ahead, Patrick. What you got for us?
Oh man, let's do it, man.
Let's do it, man. We're gonna
Who hosts? We're gonna talk
host
about Judge.
and
We're
Judge
gonna talk about these playoff scenarios.
scenario.
We are about to witness Mets collapse.
Collapse.
Tonight is a
Tonight is a must here.
Let me break this down for you.
Let me break this down for you.
The season series is tied.
Tied
9 apiece.
9 apiece.
The Mets are currently one game back for the NL East Division lead. The Mets finish up with the Washington Nationals, and the Atlanta Braves finish up with the Miami Marlins, if I'm not mistaken. I will double check myself there to be clear. But I said this 2 weeks ago that I didn't like the Mets' chances going all the way, well, for any reason, but definitely don't like it if they have to go through the wild card. And I say that because they're top two pitching dependent. They got to have Scherzer and DeGrom ready to go for 1-2, either way. But the Braves just put it on both of them. You know, DeGrom has got hit his last 2 starts. You know, he should be fresher. And anybody that's seen Max Scherzer pitch knows he's walking that Roy Halladay plan. 1 pitch away from being done, right? Remember how good Doc Holliday was? He came over to Philly. He carried them to the playoffs and everything. They lost that epic game 1-0 to St. Louis. Next thing you know, arm shot, had surgery, couldn't recover. You know, that's where Max Scherzer is. Like every time he takes that mound, you don't know if that's going to be his last start, right? And I love how they like to cover things up. So the broadcast was on Fox last night, and it was John Smoltz, and he was there. And I always love his perception and perspective of the game because not only was he an elite starting pitcher, he was an elite closer, one of the few to be able to do both. But the thing that cracked me up about it was he was like, you know, you see Scherzer out there battling when he doesn't have his top stuff, right? You know, he's grinding, you know, he's trying to get it. Now forget that Atlanta was sending out a 19-20 game winner on the other side, right? Let me ask you a question. Who's the defending World Series champions? You're on mute. You have yourself on mute. It's some damn Atlanta. Yeah,
Atlanta Braves.
Right. When are people gonna put some respect on their name? Like they act like they don't have champions. You understand what I'm saying? They were out the Mets. I'm trying to have Atlanta closed down. They got it to 3.5. Mets, down to a half game. Mets put it back out to 3.5. Atlanta came back, took it for a half game lead. Mets weathered the storm. You know, kept doing what they was doing. You know, getting hit by pitches, losing players, and just keeping on. Right? They're hanging tough. But I'm gonna put it to you like this: nobody should be shocked that Atlanta ran down the Mets, and nobody should be shocked that the Mets are now sitting in the first wild card slot. And I say that because you're talking about the defending champs. This team won the World Series without their best player last year. Think about that for a second, right? They might win another division title with their best player not even being 100%. His knee is still tore up. He'll tell you that in a heartbeat, right? That is not right. And now he's battling back issues. Like he didn't even play the last 4 game series against the Phillies, right? Back spasms, whatever. You know, he's picking his spots. You know, he's trying to rest up. Now, I think what worries you about the Braves is the back end, right? I was telling my man Demetrius Etheridge just last night, big Braves man, we always talk offline, that I don't trust Kenley Jansen coming in the 9th inning. at all. But got to give that Curacao brother credit. He shut it down Friday, and he shut it down last night. 1, 2, 3. I mean, just like butter, baby, just like a hot knife going through butter last night. So that gives you, a little bit better feeling because these are playoff games, right? Like, man, we were watching the game last night and we were laughing because Philly's up here in Washington. There was nobody there. And I'll get to that in a second because the Nationals just need to be ashamed of themselves. But we flip over to Fox. My wife says to me, she's, well, damn, everybody's at that game. I said, preach, right? She was like, look how crowded it is. Listen to how loud it is. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. She said, that's a game. She says, what's the significance of this? Like, why, so I was going through the scenario and everything with her. And she was like, damn. She was like, that's what it's like. She said, that's what I'm talking about. She said, if you're going to watch a baseball game, I want it to be like this. I want it to mean something. I need to see the crowd there. I need to hear the noise. I need to understand what it is that are talking about. So I was explaining everything to her while we were slipping back and forth from the Phillies game to that game. And, hoping the O's could win so they could have a winning record, true winning record, which they got today. Orioles got the 82 wins. But that's just remarkable, right? For them, But tonight, I'm telling you, tonight is a must-win game for the New York Mets. You don't want to go 2 games down with 3 to play and essentially be 3 games down with 3 to play. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is if they lose tonight, that means that the Braves hold the tiebreaker from head to head. So that means they're essentially 1 more game up than what the standings show. So if the Braves win tonight, there'll be 2 games up in the standing, but essentially they'll be 3 games up because they hold the tiebreaker. So even if the Braves were to lose the last 3 games and the Mets would sweep their next opponent, it don't matter. The Braves would get the division, right? Now, here's where it's interesting because this whole time, the Mets only really had to win 1 game of this 3-game series. And I say that to you for the same reason. If the Mets were to win 1 game of this series, then they hold the tiebreaker in the same scenario plays. So if they win tonight, they'll be tied at the standings, but the Mets will show on the top because they own the tiebreaker 10-9, right? So this ESPN couldn't have asked for anything better, right? Maybe a softer Sunday night game because that's going to be Brady against Mahomes. That might be the only thing that's keeping people away from watching this. You got an hour, right? You got an hour. Game starts now. Football starts in an hour.
So let me ask you a question.
I'm going right down, and I'm going right down. Locked in on this Chris Bassett versus Tony Martin. Because
let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the Mets look tired right now?
I don't think the Mets look tired. The Mets are just injured. I mean, you got to take the Mets season in perspective. And here's the thing. That might get lost. They lost all the way until September before they lost 3 games in a row. Think about that for a second. They didn't have a losing streak of 3 games in a row until they got to September. That's remarkable. They have broken the record. They've got hit like 100 times. Let's just say that. And they continue to get hit. But they keep plowing away, man. Like they don't have Starling Marte right now. He's got a finger issue, right? They really don't have a catcher. And, they overpaid McCann, right? Because they couldn't get into JT Realmuto sweepstakes, who is absolutely the best catcher in baseball. Not even a question about that right now. They don't have anybody can hit. They're calling up their young kids, right, for this stretch run. But they got pitching though, right? Like they got one of the best, if not the best closer in the game right now, Sugar Diaz, right? And the thing that's so electric about him is that he can give you 2 innings, right? So if the Mets can get a lead after 7, you give the ball to him. I like my chances with him getting 6 outs. Offensively, they struggle. You know what I mean? Like they don't really have a scary offense. They just play good ball. You know what I mean? Like they take advantage of the mistakes that you make, and they play very fundamentally sound baseball. What I mean by that is if they get a man on third base less than 2 outs, he's scoring, right? They lead the major leagues in sacrifice flies, right? So but that's their manager though. Buck Showalter is tested. He's a great manager. So their style of play is already built for the playoffs. Okay, so their style of play is going to travel. But what I worry about is them in the long haul. Like you're not going to face a better 1-2 in a 3-game series, right? If that's where they end up, like they like you said it, like you said before, right before we came on, they need to win the division more so than the Braves, in my opinion. I absolutely agree with you there.
I absolutely agree with you.
I think the Braves are younger. They're a little bit mentally stronger, being that they're already champs. They relish this, right? Bring it on. We were here last year, right? We beat the Dodgers. Nobody said we could beat the Dodgers, right? We beat the Dodgers, right? We won the whole thing last year. So as far as we're concerned, it doesn't matter how many games LA won. We still the champs, right? And no matter what sport you play, whether it's individual, whether it's team, to be the champ, you always got to beat the champ, right? So you're on mute. So if they match up in the NLDS, the Braves are not going to be scared of the Dodgers because they're the champs. But we know it is. LA ain't going to be scared of anybody because they've been beating the brakes off everybody all year.
So let's talk about Aaron Judge for a minute, man.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm watching the game, and I turned the game on, and then it go to baseball. I was like, wait a minute, did I just see? I was watching football. What is going on here? So he's up there, because of the 62 thing. They're trying to get him to get to 62.
Uh-huh.
And you had said that you're upset because ain't nobody pitching to him. And and I'm gonna say this: I think nobody wants to be on the wrong side of history.
So what?
No pitcher wants to be on the wrong side of history. But at the same token, why not be on the right side of history and pitch to him? If you strike him out, then you can say, "Yo, I did it my way." You know what I'm saying? And you think about the I think it was Ratcliffe or Cliff something who pitched for the Dodgers and Aaron and Hank Aaron hit that home run against him. And they talked to him a while ago about. He said, I'm gonna give him the best I can give him. If he hits a home run, he hits a home run. But he gonna get my hit. That's the respect factor.
Right.
And I think when you're running from a player like that, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're at a professional level, and if you straight Judge out, then you do it. Then you can say, yo, I guess you won't get 62 on me this year. You had to get on somebody else.
Right.
But I get your point where I'm watching a baseball game. I'm like, yo, they're not pitching to him at all. They're throwing it outside. They're banging in. They're doing everything else but to throw the ball in the plate somewhere where he can hit the ball. I'm now. Don't get me wrong. The pitcher's objective is to strike you out or to make you hit a ball that you're not that's not going to carry nowhere. And so it's just if it's 3-2, whatever the case may be, you can pretty much come with something that they're not going to swing at, but they got swing because they don't want to strike out. You know what I'm saying? So I get that point, man, and I think that I don't know who they played at the end of the season. I know they got Toronto. I know it was Toronto and somebody else they had left over. I thought he would have got it by now. I'll be honest with you. I thought because they were in Toronto that he would have got that 62 by now. You know what I'm saying? So now Baltimore plays them again tonight.
That's over.
Okay.
It's over.
And they go to Texas after that. And Texas Stadium, the Rangers, is that indoor stadium or outdoor, right?
It's both.
So they can open it up?
Yeah.
Okay, so and I think that against Texas he has a good chance of getting it there. But
yeah, he has a good chance. He's not going to be afraid to pitch to him.
And Baltimore's just trying to prove a point that Baltimore's trying to prove a point that they're trying to qualify to let people know that we may not be in the playoffs this year, but we definitely gonna be here next year, and we're gonna make some noise next year because if you haven't seen Baltimore coming, Baltimore's been coming for like the last 2.5 years. They've been doing really good. And this team right here that you're seeing, they're really that team is I think they're one of the youngest teams in the MLB. Cleveland is the youngest, I think, which made the playoffs. But Baltimore was right there. Not that Baltimore was like right there somewhere as far as being the youngest team, but they're getting some experience of playing some quality games that mean something to the Yankees, and also it's going to mean something to Baltimore, because at the end of the day, you want to play in even though you're not playing for the playoffs, you want to play in games that mean something and with some significance, and that's what Baltimore's doing now. So there may not be playoff games it may not be playoff games for Baltimore, but Baltimore's looking at it as a playoff game because one thing, they don't want Aaron Judge to hit that 62. You know what I'm saying? And they would more than likely they love to be in New York and win a game in New York and just leave there knowing that they beat the Yankees. So that's just my point on that. But I know you had something else you want to speak on it.
I just it doesn't make
It doesn't make it.
So I'm gonna just go back to everything you said. If you're a competitor, you want to be the guy that stops the guy. So basically, what these guys are saying, right? It's okay to be one of 60, right? But they don't want to be 61 or they don't want to be 62. So at the end of the day, my question is this, right? Who really gives a shit, or who really remembers who gave up 61, who gave up 62? Nobody. Like you might be, we
do, because that's what we do.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is, next year we're not going to be talking about the pitcher who gave up 62. Next year we're going to be talking about how Aaron Judge hit 62. We're not going to mention the pitcher. The only time that pitcher is going to be mentioned is 20 years from now when it's a trivia question for $1 million some dollars, right? Who was the pitcher that gave up historic home run number 62 to the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge? That's the only time. You know what? And heaven forbid if somebody you know answers that question and gets it right and you make them some money. I mean, stop it. Here's the thing. It's one thing to blatantly not pitch to him, walk him, do whatever you want to do. It's another thing to come out and admit that's what you're doing. And that's exactly what happened in Toronto. Kevin Gausman, the pitcher from Toronto, said, I'm not giving up number 62. I mean, if he wants to hit 61, fine, but I'm not giving up 62. I mean, I'm not really not trying to pitch to him, but I'm not giving up 62. Well, yeah, you are. And here's the thing. You play in that division, you got to see him over and over there, and you might see him again in the playoffs. So when the regular season's over, you're just going to just change your mind. Oh, it's playoffs now. Now I can go at him. So basically what you're saying is that you're afraid of this man, right? You don't want to be on the end of a trivia question, right? So you have no compete. So for me, as an organization, guess what? You can't pitch for me. As a manager, you can't play for me. Because if you don't have it in you to go out and man up and try to get that man out, so what? Now, you're just not going to throw him fastballs down the middle. You're not going to, on purpose, to let him hit it. And maybe you don't pitch to him in a game-winning situation, but in a 0-0 game or a game that's 8-1 or 7-1 or something like that, what does it matter? You know what I mean? See, this is the problem with baseball. Baseball wants to have purists, right? You always have the argument, right? Because Roger Maris Jr. says that once Aaron Judge hits 62, he's the regular season home run leader. Not only will he be the AL record home run leader, he's going to be the single season home run record holder, right? So we're going to forget what McGwire did. We're going to forget Bond 74, right? So I was watching MLB Tonight the other night. You had Greg Amsinger, the host, Harold Reynolds, former baseball player, and I can't remember the other kid's name. Yonder Alonso. Yep. Another former MLB player. All three of them, to a man, agreed with Roger Maris Jr. All three of them said that if Aaron Judge hits 62, in their eyes, he will be recognized as the single season home run leader. Okay. Now, I have been on record many times, and I'll be on record again. Baseball has always cheated. All right. From the inception of baseball, there has always been cheaters. There has always been some type of substance abuse. Whether you want to talk about the greenies they used to take back in the day, if you want to talk about the supplement that they use so they could recover quicker and play those double headers and play those back-to-back games back in the day, there's always been some sense of cheating. All the way to the stickiness or the tackiness of the baseball, right? All the way to stealing of the signs. Not to the level what the Houston Astros did, right? I'm just talking about being on second base and stealing the sign from the catcher and being able to relay it, right? Legitimately, if you can call that legitimately stealing, right? Because stealing is stealing, right? So don't give me this nonsense, right? And to this day, Barry Bonds has never tested positive for steroids, right? I mean, let's not let the facts get in the way of your thinking here. We all know the deal, but guess what? When that was happening, we were all on the edge of our seats. We were all watching Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds. We were all part of that. So basically, what they're telling us on the MLB network is they want to men in black us, right? They want to come up with a little pen and put the pen on our face and hit it so that can be erased from our memories, right? Because you feel some type of way. You feel some type of way now, right? Right. That's basically what they're saying. And that's what I mean. Think about that. Right?
And you know what?
Bro, he went on a rant saying I was cheated. We were bamboozled. We were hoodwinked. Right. We were cheated. We were hoodwinked.
But Patrick, let me ask you a question.
If you want to recognize Barry Bonds, go ahead. I'm not doing it because it ain't right. He was full.
But you know what though? Didn't they play in the era a little bit? That era when Barry Bonds played. You know what I'm saying? So they know that. Man, they know the deal. They know the deal. Everybody knew what was going on.
Don't bring common sense to the conversation.
Everybody knew about it, man. And see, that's the part that's the part that really pisses me off because Barry Bonds never tested positive for anything at all. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad because he dedicated his whole life to baseball, and this is how he gets cheated.
I mean,
but
not great. Now, hold on. I mean, he brought some of that on himself.
Oh, he's arrogant.
We're not stupid. I mean, we know he cheated. We just can't prove he cheated. You know what I'm saying? So, like, hey, how the line go? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Denzel from Training Day.
Exactly. So, Patrick, real quick before we move into 7th grade, before we move into football, what color uniform will Aaron Judge wear next year?
That's a tough question, bro. That's a great question. Tough one. You know, if you listen to everybody out there, they say he's still going to be but he's going to be wearing the Mets uniform. I mean, that's he's talking about. He wouldn't mind playing Boston. I think at the end of the day, he's going to be wearing the same uniform next year that he's wearing today. And I think it would be a travesty if he doesn't. And especially, listen, while we're talking about him, I want to bring something up. We have to recognize this. Right? Forget 61. Forget 61. This man is having arguably the best individual season in Major League Baseball history. You understand me? He is going to win the Triple Crown. Now, take it a step further. He is going to win the Triple Crown with hitting 60-plus home runs. Let that sink in for a second. He's going to win the Triple Crown while hitting 60-plus home runs. For every person that says we've never seen anything like Shohei Ohtani. Tell me when we've seen a Triple Crown winner hitting 60+ home runs. I mean, I'll leave it at that. I'm just going to drop the mic on that.
And you know that Shohei just signed a $30 million 1 year for arbitration, so that he don't have to discuss his contract with the Angels. And I that's another thing. I wish we had more time to talk about that too. That's another thing that I'm really confused about, is because, you know, you got Bradley Beal that's in Washington. Sign all that money. It's not going. They're nowhere close to winning that title, no matter what Razoo McGee thinks. Right? They might be six. They might be a sixth best team in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? 6, 7 team. He signed all that money in that. I mean, and I understand you saying the money being dedicated, but Shohan and Mike Trout, if the Angels don't make effort to bring in some bats, some more help for them, why let these guys sit there and ruin their career? You know, and I understand the dedication part of it, but man, don't you want to play in the playoffs at least one time? This and I'm really shocked that Shohan signed a $30-year $1 million contract for arbitration this early. I really am, but I think that they knew this is the most, I think, since Mookie Betts got 27. They know that he's in high demand, and that they know now they got him. So if somebody wants him, they got to give up some bread, some players, some picks, some this, some that. You know, some Fuji, whatever food he eats, the Japanese food he eats, or whatever. They got to give up all that stuff for him to get him. So that's a small move on their part. I was surprised they signed it, to be honest with you. You know, and even the same thing with Mike Trout. I mean, he had an opportunity to come to Philly, then they shut that down, and gave him a new contract. But at some point in time, man, don't you want to just? I mean, you just going through the motions of playing, and it just don't seem right to me, man. I don't know. I'm like, I got all the money I need. Trade me to somebody that has an opportunity to go to a World Series, so I can at least play in the playoffs. Or if I get to World Series and win it, I'm good. I mean, just look at Albert Pujols. What happened to him? Went to the Angels. The Angels couldn't go to the Dodgers. Went to World Series. Leaves the Dodgers. Comes back to the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals is playing really good baseball. I'm really scared that the Cardinals are. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared of them right now. But he did it his way. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna leave his way. And to be honest, perfectly honest with you, Albert Pujols probably could play another year if he really wanted to. He looks tremendous. He looks tremendous. But I don't understand the Angels situation at all.
Oh, well, so here's the thing. It makes perfect sense for them to sign him to a 1-year deal. Just keep in mind now, the Angels just got sold, so they got new ownership. So that's why. It makes sense, right? So it gives them a chance. It gives the new owners a year to assess everything, see how they want to move forward, right? Because they understand that.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I'll put it to you like this, right? The Angels are in a position to run themselves from a marketing standpoint the way the Dallas Cowboys do. Okay? So just stick with me here for a second, right? Every time Jerry Jones says something, it's gold, right? Right, wrong, indifferent, it's gold. What does it do? He is a marketing genius, right? We can all agree on that, right? Jerry Jones is a freaking marketing genius, right? The comments that he made a couple weeks ago about, I would love to have a quarterback controversy, right? Everybody's up in arms about that. Well, if you listen to what he's saying, he's true. Basically, what he's saying is he hoped Cooper Rush plays well enough that everybody thinks there's a controversy, right? We all know who the main guys, and that's what he's saying today. Cooper Rush gives us a chance to win, but Dak is the straw that stirs the drink, basically, right? But when you have an international superstar that you have in this cat right here, Ohtani, and how young he is, and like you said, how demand he is, the Angels have a chance to do something extra special, just with continue to draw, continue to make money at the gate without actually winning, right? There you see the parallel or the comparison, right? Because Dallas is still drawing, but Dallas's product is better on the field than what the Angels is, but neither one of them are getting championships, right? So that's not lost on me. Being a Cowboys fan, I get it, but that's why it makes a lot of sense, right? You have to do something with him. There was going to be no long term, so get him as 30, get him 1 year. Let's market the hell out of him. Let's see what else we can do, because as long as he's going to be there, people are probably going to want to come want to play there. As long as Mike Trout is there and he's healthy, people are going to want to come play. But here's the thing. You say, don't you want to get to the playoffs? Don't you want to do this? You got to look who they're with. They're with Houston. Listen, there was Seattle. Seattle just ended what was the longest drought for any team in the
21 years. I'm so happy for them, man.
Yeah. Now, you know what team has the longest playoff drought in Major League Baseball right now? The Phillies.
Phillies.
The Phillies.
What?
The Phillies.
The Phillies haven't made it since 2011. They haven't made the playoffs since 2011.
Is that when they won the World Series? Was the last time they won the
World Series in 2008. Went back in 2009, lost in 6 to the Yankees, and made it the next 2 years. And they haven't been back since. That's 11 years. They have the longest drought. Now they're one game from ending. So they got 3 chances over the next 3 days to get a win or a loss by Milwaukee.
But I'm really disappointed in them too. I really am, because my friend, he's a Philly fan, so we looked at the schedule at the end. I said, "Yo, the back of your schedule is nice." I said, "But you're in the season with Houston." I said, "If those games matter, you're in trouble. If the games don't matter, you'll have an opportunity." But Phillies had their opportunity to lock this thing up, man, because they played all division games pretty much, and they had probably one of the easiest schedules on the back end after All-Star break. And I'm really shocked, because I thought when they fired the manager, which I don't understand how you fire your manager and you win 11, 12 games in a row. And again, is the manager not speaking to the assistant manager or whatever? Because then he took over and then they started winning. I don't know. I don't get that. It's just one of those things, I guess. But I felt that they had a lock in for the playoffs. And again, they have to win one game to get in. And
they're going to do it.
Astros don't have anything to play for right now, because they're going to have the best record in the American League.
Yep.
So they might just relax.
Nope, they're not going to relax. They won't relax until Philadelphia wins. And I say that to you because Dustin already come out and said, as long as there's playoff implications in these games, we're playing the win.
So I thought they already sealed up the best record in the American League.
But Philadelphia's not in yet. He's not about to let them get in.
So he's talking about Philly. And and I'm gonna tell you, undercover agent told me he do not like Philly.
Wonder why he doesn't like Philly. Why does he like Philly?
Because he's a Dodger. He said, I hated him. He said, I hated Philly more than any other team in the National League.
I thought you was going to say something else, because they didn't give him the job. They gave the job to George Wayne. Not him.
But you know what? I read the article. He's like, they gave it to who they wanted to give it to. He said, and I didn't want to go there anyway. He said, it would have been hard for me to manage somewhere that I don't like to a team I really don't like. I'm like, oh, yeah, no. But anyway, man, we got about half an hour left. So
but hold on. I know you want to get the football, but hold on. This baseball stuff is just so it's not over, right? The Padres lost today. Right? So the Phillies gained the game on the Padres as well. Okay? Padres are in because they hold the tiebreaker over. Right? So the Padres are in.
Yeah, Milwaukee's done.
Well, they pretty much, yes. Because the same scenario applies to Milwaukee that happens to the Braves, right? Milwaukee is 2 games out, essentially 3 games out, because Philadelphia has the tiebreaker with 3 to go.
But they
Now,
don't Philly own the tiebreaker with both teams.
yes, that's why it's important, right? That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. This is why the loss today by Chicago, San Diego to Chicago brings the Philadelphia Phillies in the one game of the second wild card. So those two end up tied. Philadelphia gets the second spot. San Diego goes on the third spot. But now, if you're paying attention, right, what they're telling you is that you want the third spot because you want to go to St. Louis. You don't want to deal with the Braves and the Mets in the first round.
Right.
Again, to me, it goes back to I want in, line them up, I'll take my chance. You understand? Right? That's where the QP level comes. So just give you a quick update. Mets have men on first and second, and they just tied the game up at 1-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now,
New England Green Bay game is at overtime, 24-24. Green Bay has the ball. Raiders
baseball has never
won.
been this good, and the baseball has never been this good this late in the season, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a baseball fan, I know you are twinkling your toes, you're happy, you just. I mean, because if you think about this, it's never been this good this late in the season. We're down to like about 4 or 5 games left in MLB, and we still haven't determined who's getting the wild card. And this is going to be an exciting thing right here. It really is.
Yep.
It's going to be. It's going. And let me say this: I'm if the Dodgers win the World Series this year, I'm gonna be so happy because a little guy by the name of Peyton Jones said something to me one day. We didn't play 60 games and win a World Series. Okay, that's okay. That's all right. You can say that if you want to, but now, I think that like last year, I think the Dodgers were so tired because they were trying to win a division and not get into the playing game. I mean, the wild card game, and they got in it with San Francisco. I think that took a lot out of them because I think at the time the Dodgers rotation wasn't set, and they're not good at a 3-game series, knowing that you gotta go play a 7-game series. And Atlanta put it on them. I ain't gonna lie, Atlanta put it on them. But I'm telling you right now, they ready. They allowed them to get Freddie Freeman, and once that happened, I think all hands down, and they're playing really good baseball right now. I'm questioning the closer right now because they don't have a closer. The best closer we had left and went to Atlanta, and they talking about Kimbrel not even making a rotation for the playoffs, which is crazy.
Stop.
So I'm telling you, he I don't know. But again, if you're into baseball like Patrick is, you about to have some fun. This is gonna be it's gonna be a roller coaster ride from here on out, and hopefully, I don't know who's gonna make the World Series, but I hope that it's a city that has warm weather for both, because this World Series might end up going into November, the first week in November, and it snows. It could be snowing in New York in November. So it is what it is, guys. So we get ready to get into some football. As Patrick was telling you, it's tied 24-24 in Green Bay against New England. Now I'm really impressed with New England because they're down to the third quarterback. Brian Hoyer got hit, concussion protocol, so he's out. That and I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody's gonna look at that situation as more so than what it was. And we all know why, because of the situation with Tua. If you saw that hit on Tua, that was devastating. To see somebody's hand like that freezing this and froze like that. If you had the opportunity to watch the Giants play the Redskins when Joe Theismann broke his fibula, or whatever, it kind of sits the same way with me when it comes to hair.
Really?
Yeah. It kind of he's froze, like his hands are like this, like they're froze, and they're not moving or anything like that. So they said that when that happens, it's a part of your brain that stops moving, that stops the motor stops, right? But they never came back out and said how much of the situation that happened to him the game prior had affected this game. But I'm gonna say this to you guys: we need to get rid of Thursday night football. It's trash. It's no fun. I don't care. I don't care what the NFL is doing. If you want to have 17 games, do them on Sundays and Mondays. Get rid of Thursday night football because it's not good. It's not good, and it's not because of what happened to Tua, but the quality of football you're playing is not that good. You play Sunday, then you leave and you have to go on the road. So you go when you leave Sunday. When your game's over Sunday, you're flying to wherever you're going on Wednesday. You got to be there by maybe Tuesday, so you really don't have a chance to recover from any injuries that you may have. So you're shorthanded at the most. So I don't. Thursday night was cool at first, but I don't like it now. It's just not good football. When the score is 11-10 or 15-11, that's not good football. That's not good football. So for real quick updates on the games today, if I could get to Stefanski, I would chop him in his throat. The Browns lost 23-20. We had the opportunity to kick a field goal in the first half. He didn't do it. We lose by 3 points. We up 3. You lost both your defensive tackles. I mean, both your defensive ends are not playing, and you arrogant. Stop being arrogant, dude. Cowboys beat Washington. I mean, beat Washington 25-10. Cowboys in trouble. Rivera, it's not your fault. Nobody cares about the Cowboys right now until y'all get rid of your owner. Jets upset the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wait. Back it up. You said that wrong. The Commanders are in trouble. Nobody cares about the Commanders. You said that all backwards.
I said Washington. I didn't say the Commanders. I said Washington.
No, you said Cowboys.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Jets beat the Steelers. The new quarterback came in there and didn't. He threw interception, but it got tipped. And I think that the NFL need to change that because if a quarterback throws a ball and it touches the receiver hand, the receiver should be charged for the turnover, not the quarterback. Okay, Buffalo Bills beat the Ravens 23-20, and I don't know what's going on with going on with Baltimore right now. I am so pissed with their coach right now. I really am. I don't even understand. And Patrick, I'm gonna say this to you: when you get a chance, you off air, just go and look at the predictions of wins that they got for Baltimore. I'm looking at the predictions. I was like, there's no way they have a last place schedule because they was in last place last year, and they're not a last place team. But they've given up 2 big leads against Miami and another against against Buffalo. And at some point in time, the coach got to be accountable for this because there's no way she lost that game. The Chiefs and Buccaneers are next. Green Bay has won the game overtime 27-24 against the Patriots. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Bill Belichick is probably coaching better than he did with Tom Brady there when your first quarterback's down, then your second quarterback's down, and your third quarterback comes in, and your third quarterback looks really, really good. That has a lot to say about Belichick, in my opinion. I'm not a Belichick fan, but I don't even care about Belichick. But the Raiders is off the snide, man. 32-23 against Denver. Yo, somebody said Russell Wilson don't have the magic. Russell Wilson lost the magic a long time ago. He didn't because he in Denver. Denver just got a good defense. Now he just can't get it together. Him and Hackett can't get it together. That's what happened. You can take it away. Vikings won 28-25 against the Saints. Saints almost had that thing. Kirk Cousins is the worst quarterback. They got the most guaranteed money out of first one to get the most guaranteed money than anybody I know. I'm telling you right now. He was 25 or 38, 273 yards, 1 touchdown. But he's terrible, man. I don't care what nobody say. Seattle and the Lions are 48 to 50, 48 to 45. That was a halftime score of a basketball game, and no defense was played at all. The coach, listen, Patrick. The Detroit coach would look like he would have cried. I'm like, man, you gave up 48 points. You don't play no defense. You just want to score points all the time. Doesn't make any sense. Titans did what they had to do, beat Colts 24-17. Coach Frank Wright's probably on the hot seat. Giants win 20-12 against the Bears. Justin Fields looks terrible. Eagles beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 29-21, but Jacksonville looks good. I'm going to say that to you right now. Doug Peterson is going to make a difference. Chargers won 34-24 against Texas. Yo, I don't think a damn thing wrong with my man's ribs because he threw 39 times for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think they're lying. Cardinals beat the Panthers 26-16. Kyler Murray was 23 for 32 for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was probably the boringest game I ever seen in my life until the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand. I don't know what is going on with the NFL right now. I really don't know. When you have a game that's played on a Thursday night and they score 15 points, you got to question it. You really got to question it. You got to question all of this. I'm telling you, you have to question this. I'm telling you, I don't get it, man. I really don't. I'm gonna tell you right now, if this Kansas City Chiefs game end up being 9-6, yo, I'm done. I'm done because I don't get it, man.
So what was the enemy and Patrick Mahomes arguing about last week?
They didn't say. Nobody wants to talk about it, but I think it was he wanted to call a timeout to run some more plays, but that's a competitive in Patrick Mahomes. But if you notice today, the Packers game, Aaron Rodgers said the same thing to the referee. He had 2 seconds on clock. He called a timeout. Referee said the halftime, go back in the locker room. He probably said to him, "Yo, you lose anyway, don't matter." And Rodgers kept talking back to the guy like, "Yo, I wanted 2 seconds." Coach said, "Come on, let's go in. 2 seconds don't matter." It didn't matter because you went in overtime. You played an extra quarter and overtime. That's gonna hit you. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Packers, they in trouble. They gonna. But you know what, man? I don't blame nobody but Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers getting all the money, don't want to share the money with nobody else. And Devontae Adams left because I guess he's seen the handwriting on the wall. You bring back Randall Cobb, who's he's like 5 years away from doing Geritol every day, and you expect to win with this team. It's gonna be a struggle for Green Bay right now. Minnesota probably has a better chance of winning that division than Green Bay do right now because Green Bay struggled. You had a third string quarterback take you in overtime at home. You threw a pick, he threw a pick six, and I'm mad at him because he's my fantasy football player, my fantasy quarterback, and I know that I'm probably lost I was 3-0 up until the day. I gotta rely on Cooper Kupp and somebody else tonight the Monday night to get me through this thing. But I want to get back to this Baltimore Buffalo game.
On Sunday.
It's 20-10 in the second half. Baltimore scores no more points. No more points. I don't understand it. Now I want to get back to the Browns game. If Stefanski don't get him a damn offensive coordinator, I'm going to be pissed off because nobody tells him no when he does dumb shit. Kick the field goal, man. Just kick the damn field goal. We're up 3-0. You don't have either one of your ends. Clowney's out with he got a bad baby toe. Myles Garrett want to go 155 miles an hour on back roads that look like you're on like you in the Formula 88 Formula Racing when you make all the sharp turns. He destroys his Porsche, right? And then come to find out he got 6 speeding tickets, Patrick. Why he still got license? You know what I'm saying? Come on, you gotta do better to be better, man.
Privilege. Listen. There is nothing more heartbreaking today than watching Will Lutz kick a 61-yard field goal, hit the upright, and then the crossbar to the tie. Then the unconscionable decision of John Harbaugh to not get the field goal with a couple minutes left in the game. You go from the 4th and goal and you call a straight drop back pass. You didn't put Lamar on the move. You didn't put the ball in his hands and give him an option. And I said to my wife at the time, because if you don't, you can lose the game by field goal with no time. And that's exactly what happened. And then I don't know if you saw the end of the play. There were 2 plays where it looked like one player was trying to let the guy score, so they would have a minute and something left, and they tackled him. And then Marcus Peters had to be held back on the sideline because he was so upset. And I was like, man, I wonder who he's arguing with. I hope it's not hardball because he'll be cut tomorrow if it is. If it is.
That's what he looked. That's what he's arguing was hardball.
And the broadcast team couldn't really get to it either. Another travesty, right? Like to have that game 1:00, have B announcers. I mean, there was no Romo, there was no Jim Nance. It was a 1:00 game here. The weather was awful, but that was a game that they should have at least had it 23-23. But there's a problem here in Baltimore, and it ain't Lamar Jackson. So let's be clear about that. The defense is garbage. They're not. I mean, you were winning that game 20-3. You got outscored 20-0. They put up 20 unanswered points. So let's be clear about that. The score was 20-3. Okay? They got a touchdown right before half, made it 20-10. Baltimore had the ball a couple of times. They had one good drive, and they went all the way down the field on them, and then they went for it on 4th and goal with a couple minutes left. This decision-making really should be job-altering decision-making. Honestly, because it goes back to last year. There were several times last year when he went for it on 4th down. He went for it on 2-point conversions. At some point, these decisions need to have consequences. If you're saying players make penalties, that cost you points and cost you drives, well, decisions and not putting your team in the position to win the game, that falls squarely on you. Okay, it falls squarely.
Let me ask you a question.
For not being able to stop somebody, and it falls on you and your offensive coordinator for not being able to score points. You scored 20. You can't score any points in the second half.
Let me ask you a question with Baltimore. Do you think that Harbaugh is he on deaf ears right now? Do you think that it might be time for him to maybe move on?
Let me tell you something.
He's been there over what? He's been there
like 15 years. He's been here for a long time. He replaced Belichick. I mean, not Belichick.
Belichick. He won the one Super Bowl in 2000, right?
Yep.
And then he came right after him, and now he's won a Super Bowl.
And he won his Super Bowl. I felt like the same thing. The players just got undisciplined. I think sometimes you get comfortable in your equity.
Yes.
And I think that's happening right here. Again, you're trying to be the smartest guy in the room. You just need to make the smart decisions, take the points, put your team in a position to stop them or get you the ball back, or at least hold them to a field goal. Go to overtime and give your team a chance to win. I mean, that now you're 2-2. You're right there with everybody else in the division. Now Cincinnati is starting to get it together. They probably are the best team in the division, but this was also a divisional game that you lost. Like that matters at the end. I mean, I'm sorry, a conference game. This is a conference game that you lost, so that matters at the end, right? I'm gonna tell you something. This is kind of comical when you look at this, because there are some things happening here that we haven't seen in a long time. One of them being the NFC East is the best football conference right now, right? Eagles 4-0, Dallas 3-1 without Dak, Giants 3-1 somehow, right? Now I'm just speaking on paper, right? There's probably a better division all the way around, but right now on paper, that's your best division, right? The Vikings are 3-1, the Packers are 3-1, okay? You got the Chargers sitting at 2-2, and I think it was you that tried to tell me they were the best team in the AFC West. I think it was you that told me that, but I digress. I think it was also people I
did say that.
Yeah, right. So let me just go back. So if when Kansas City wins tonight, they'll be what, 3-1, right? Yeah, because they had a hiccup last week against the Colts, right? But you got the Colts in 1-2-1. Okay. You got
just a team that's trying to figure themselves out right now.
Texans who are both 3-1, and they're probably the best team that we've seen in a long time. You got Jacksonville that's 2-2. You got Seattle that's 2-2. You got the New Orleans Saints that are 1-3. I saw that coming personally. They're garbage. Falcons are 2-2. The Titans are 2-2.
The Titans are 2-2.
Right?
Yeah, with the I remember Al came on and talked about the Saints, and I said, Al, I know you're a Saints fan, and I truly understand your stand, but man, I don't see.
They have no.
I don't see. I don't see it.
No quarterback.
I just don't see it.
Let me
no
quarterback.
No quarterback.
Let me go here real quick. I'm gonna tell you, why is my computer not working for me? And this, if you want to call it a dig, you can call it a dig. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers is the best 1-3 team out there.
The Steelers?
Yeah, they're the best 1-3 team out there.
Well,
who else is 1-3?
I mean, Carolina's 1-3.
Carolina's 1-3.
San Francisco could be 1-3 after
tomorrow. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh is the best 1-3 team out there.
You think Pittsburgh?
I can't wait to hear
lose more.
I think they're the best 1-3 team.
If you put Pittsburgh up against Detroit,
no, they can't score enough points.
Right, there you go. So Detroit. I only say that because Detroit's 1-3.
Detroit's 1-3.
But see, I think Detroit should be they shouldn't be 1-3, but Pittsburgh is what they are, 1-3.
Right.
They
are. You think Pittsburgh?
Bro, we had 8 o'clock.
Right.
So we did our hour.
All right, well, let's run through these picks real quick and then we'll hop off.
Okay, so
I got them.
You got them?
Yeah, I got them. So
I got them.
Okay.
Colts and Broncos on Thursday night.
Who you got?
I got Denver.
Give me Denver too. New York Football Giants at the Green Bay Packers.
I got the Giants.
Got the Giants. I'll take the Packers because I have no idea who's going to play quarterback for the Giants.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it said, yeah. Go Green Bay because they ain't no quarterback. Yeah, I'll take that back. Green Bay.
So you got the best 1-3 team. Against the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo gonna score about 60 points in them because they gonna remember about last year when they felt like they should have won and they lost in Pittsburgh. Now they got going to Buffalo by 20.
Okay, good. This is gonna be a good one right here. You got the Los Angeles Football Chargers against the Cleveland Browns.
Chargers, both our defensive ends won't be back.
All right, I agree. I'll take the Chargers. You got the 0-3 Texans visiting Jacksonville Jaguars.
Huh?
Got Texans at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
All right, I agree. Jacksonville. You got the Bears at the Vikings. Minnesota as well. All right, you got the Detroit Lions at the New England Patriots.
It's gonna be cold, but Detroit gonna score about 40 points on them too. They better get ready.
I'll take Detroit on that. You got Seattle against the New Orleans Saints.
I'm going with Seattle. They look really good. Geno Smith playing
Give me Geno Smith. You got the Miami Dolphins. At New York Jets. Teddy Two Gloves against the Cougar Killer.
I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think the defense is a little bit better, and we don't know who's the backup quarterback.
Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm going with the Jets on this one.
Give me the Dolphins. I think their defense. You got the Atlanta Falcons visiting Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Give me Tampa. I think they'll be a little bit healthy. You got the upstart Tennessee Titans visiting Washington.
I'm going with Tennessee. Did Washington win a game yet?
Yeah, they won one game.
They won one game.
That's what they're not going to win another game.
Ooh, okay. You got the San Francisco 49ers. This is the first of the late games visiting the Carolina Panthers.
San Fran.
All right. It's going to be a good one right here, too. 425. Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals.
Philadelphia.
I haven't seen them play, but it's hard to play to go 4-0. The Eagles. I got the Niners as well. You have the Sunday night game. Two Bengals visiting the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm gonna give Baltimore, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the Rams and Dallas game should be the 8:20 game. That should not be that's
no Dak. It's 4:25 though.
I don't care.
All right,
I'm gonna go with Baltimore on this one.
Cincinnati has traditionally given Baltimore a problem, and I live here, so I'm gonna go with the Ravens. If Cincinnati beats them because they're covering them.
Right.
Monday night, you got the Las Vegas Raiders visiting the Kansas City.
I got Kansas City.
Me as well. You got the Rams coming off going up against the three-row winning Dallas Cowboys in LA, which is basically a home game for the Cowboys.
LA all day.
Well, you know what I got the star.
Southern California.
I got the star. I think our defense is legit.
We gonna do the crip walk.
I think the defense is legit. I think the young Lion 717 is going to have a long day.
You better get ready.
I like it. Cooper Rush is doing just enough. I don't think Dak will be back for that game. He's targeting that game. I don't think he'll be back. Nor should he be back. I think he needs to sit the next two out against the Rams and the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself ready to go. Right where you need to be. You couldn't ask for a start for the Cowboys.
Exactly. Everybody thought Cooper Rush wasn't the dude, but apparently he is the dude that. I think he's the only quarterback they said that had a fourth quarter comeback as a come off the bench quarterback, something like that. They brought up.
Drives.
Yeah. All right, bro. It was fun.
Next week. All right, my man. Yes, sir.
It was real fun.
Yes, sir.
As always. Pleasure.
All right. Take care, bro.
All right, you too, man. Be safe.
All right.
All right.